I now call this show to order. Thank you for joining us on Kiwanis Connects. It is another Friday. Oh my goodness, how these weeks just go by so fast. I'm Aaron the Voice Phillips coming to you live from Virginia Beach. And of course, the other square to my right over here, Doc Val is joining us a little under the weather, she claims, but you sounded good, Doc Val. How are you?
I am doing much better. Like I said, this new flu is no joke. I picked it up after convention on Sunday, and today is the first day. I think I sound like Kermit the Frog right now, but it'll get better by the moment. I promise.
Does that make me Snuffleupagus?
I can do that.
I don't know. Joining us on the show today, I met this young lady like literally 27 hours ago. She was a guest speaker at the Kiwanis Club of Virginia Beach yesterday. Rachel Ringer is her name. If you all saw the promo post I put up for today's show, we'll kind of give you a little bit of an idea as to why Rachel is with us. And fortunately, Rachel is here with us to share her story if you read what happened. But one September evening in 1991, back on the eve of a school year, she was out with a friend going clothes shopping, right? What else would you be doing the night before school year, right?
Right.
And they hopped in the car and they went out clothes shopping, and a drunk driver collided with them. And in the post, I believe, is a picture of the mangled wreck car, 4 or 5 pictures that were included on the promo post. Let's just say that from all details, she's lucky to be sitting here with us today, but unfortunately there was one loss of life, which I'll have Rachel share all that story with us. So thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
I felt your message was really powerful, not just from a human interest standpoint, of course, but within the Kiwanis world. You know, we do so much with high schoolers and middle schoolers and college students. And now here we are at the beginning of March. You know, schools are about 2 to 3 months away from wrapping up for graduations and proms and all of that stuff. Your message about drunk driving and don't doing it because of what happened to you is very powerful. And I felt, Val, it was important for us to hear her story so that those of us in the Kiwanis world, as I share with you, our show does go international. Anybody at any time can pick this show up and share it within the school as part of a drunk driving lesson. Don't do it, and really share what happens if you do. So, hearing your story yesterday really kind of just, I said, Val, I got us covered this week, Val. I got the guest for us this Friday. We're good to go. So thank you for coming in today and your willingness to share your story. So, Val, did you want to open up with a question? Otherwise, I'm going to ask Rachel to just really kind of start setting the stage.
Well, I really want to make sure that we loop this all back together when we talk at the end, because Rachel, your story is so timely on multiple levels. And so while Aaron will take the lead, I'll pop in periodically because this really hits very close to home. And I will share with you, normally I can talk forever. And this past week, while I was starting to say the Pledge of Allegiance in one of my clubs, the Centennial E Club out in Pennsylvania. No, actually, it was Lamiston, Louisiana. I start the pledge, and all of a sudden a notification goes across my screen that one of my friends had been hit by a drunk driver and had passed, and a classmate. And so for Aaron to bring this home for us, you're here at the right time. So thank you for coming here to share your story.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to send a message to Laura's friends and family. I'm so sorry. And we hope to make sure that doesn't happen to anyone else ever again.
Well, thoughts and prayers to your friend's family.
Absolutely.
From those of us here in Virginia Beach. So let's set the stage. It was September 1st.
September 2nd.
That's what I said, September 2nd, 1991. So take it from there. Let's set the stage of what was happening, why you went out, before we get to the major details. So
Sure.
Set the stage.
So it was Labor Day, September 2nd, 1991. I had been working all day down at the oceanfront and had plans when I got off work to pick up my friend. We were going to go to the mall, get a new outfit for the next day, first day of school. And so that's what happened. I worked and I left work and I picked up my friend and we went to the mall and we left the mall and went and got something to eat. And then after we left and I was leaving to take her home, I remember turning onto the road, Potter's Road.
Mhm.
And I remember exactly what I was talking about. And I remember that I was laughing. So I guess that's always a good thing. If that was going to be my time, at least I was laughing at the
Yeah.
time. But my next memory was 9 days later.
Hmm.
So it went from laughing to complete darkness
Mhm.
for 9 days.
So at this point, you're out and about shopping at Lynn Haven Mall, I believe is what you said yesterday. I know
Yes.
it well, right? Mom, family, they all thinking you're all out having a good time, as two teenagers would the night before school starts.
Yes.
It's kind of interesting that when you shared this part of the story, how your family was even knew something happened. Your mom knew you were running late, right?
Right.
You talked about that,
Mhm.
but how the family figured out what was happening and why you were late was just eye-opening yesterday. Share that part if you don't mind.
So I was supposed to be home at 9:30. That was my curfew to be home at 9:30. 9:30 came and went. The 11 o'clock news came on, and my grandparents and my aunt were watching the news, and it was Labor Day, so they had aired, the bad accidents of the weekend or what have you, and so they went to my accident that they were currently on the scene at, and they were removing me from the car, and my grandparents both said, "Wow, someone's life has really changed tonight." But as they got me out of the car, my arm fell off the side of the stretcher. And when that happened, my aunt, who was also watching, said, "That's Rachel. That's Rachel. I know it's Rachel." So she started calling my mom. And of course, my mom was mad at me because I was supposed to be home. So she called my friends home and found out. That's how she found out that I had been in a car wreck. Her father had told her that his daughter and her daughter, myself, were in a car wreck. And as far as he knew, I did not make it.
So let me just stop you right. I have to recap this because when you shared this part of the story, I mean, imagine you're sitting and watching the news at 11 o'clock, right? And 99.9% of the time, when you see these news reports and the field reporters reporting, you're like, oh, it's over there. It's got, unfortunately, somebody else. Like I said in my promo post, first you're watching it sympathy, right? That's kind of like what you commented that your grandparents said. Your grandfather said that line, or your grandmother? One of them did.
One of them
right?
did,
Somebody's life is going to change. So you've got the sympathy going, and then all of a sudden sympathy turns into shock, at the very least, when you realize that that's your loved one that you're seeing there. So Val, just that change of emotion is crazy to think. You're watching this thing on the news innocently, and you go to find out it's your family, it's your loved one.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's and then the fact that a neighbor saw it and erroneously came up with the conclusion that you didn't survive.
Right. That's what he said his understanding was, that
From the news report.
From the report that he got after his daughter, the friend that was with me,
Gotcha.
after she was taken to the hospital, he was under the impression that I wasn't at that hospital because I didn't make it.
Gotcha.
So you went to two separate hospitals in this process.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And you were separated because you went to a hospital because your injuries were more severe. Is that right?
Absolutely. They flew me by Nightingale to Norfolk General Hospital because it was a level 1 trauma center.
Okay.
And the drunk driver and my friend were taken to Virginia Beach General Hospital.
Okay.
Their injuries weren't as severe. So
it's just crazy.
So did you have your license on you and all of that, or was there? They just didn't identify you because they didn't know how to reach your family?
So I did have all that on me, but in the confusion of who was who, my purse and my belongings were taken to the hospital with my friend.
Oh.
So my purse was not with me, and they didn't have that information. And from what I understand, I was telling them that I was someone totally different.
Wow.
You know, I was telling them I was Allison and I was 13 years old.
Wow.
So
Did you ever
That's
figure out where
amazing.
that name came from?
so when I was a little girl, Allison was always my play name.
Okay.
So that's the only thing I can think was
Wow.
that it was just a name that was stuck in my head from childhood. And
Mhm.
Wow.
So.
And then Allison came out to play.
She did.
Jeez, wow. All right.
Well, there's a psychological thing that goes with that, and
Yep.
part of it is that your brain went to where we're happy and comfortable, and so your brain disconnects from any pain that you're receiving. So it could have been that, and that's not woo-woo science. That has been proven. So
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
that explains a lot in my world too. Anyway, I digress. It's all over in my studio as to where my brain goes. All my Batman stuff's in here. Okay,
Yeah.
so your relatives realized when they saw your hand slide out off the end of the
Stretcher.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That it was you. Then what?
So so then my aunt called my mom and was like, "Is Rachel home?" And my mom's like, "No." And I'm actually getting ready to call because she should have been home at 9:30. And then that, of course, is when she makes the first phone call and is told that I didn't make it. So after that phone call, she called my aunt back, told her that, and then they started calling all the hospitals in the area. And that's actually how they found out that I was saying I was Allison, because when they finally called Norfolk General Hospital and asked, "Do you have a girl in this description, was in a car accident?" They were like, "Well, we do, but she said her name is Allison."
Hmm.
And my aunt was like, "Nope, nope, her name is Rachel. Call her Rachel."
Wow. And once you started hearing, when you came out of your 9 days, you were in a coma for 9 days.
I was in a coma for 5 days.
Okay. And then you were just unconscious after the coma for the extra 4.
Right.
So when you came out and you started hearing Rachel as the name, was there any confusion in your mind between hearing Rachel and thinking Allison?
Not at all.
Okay. So you obviously no recollection of saying you were Allison.
Right. No.
Okay.
No.
I got you. Wow. All right.
well, there's the pictures of the car. Can we see those, John?
Okay, there you go. Yep, John, if you could, let's there you go. If you could shift us over to the side. Yeah, so describe, I mean, obviously you could see what we're looking at, but talk about those pictures and what, as you see them now, what kind of goes through your head?
I mean, it's very surreal looking at that car and thinking that I was in it, even though I have seen pictures and videos from the scene of the accident. So I know what I looked like in that car. It's just very surreal.
I think
to look at that and think.
Yeah, that you walked away, that you're sitting here today.
Yeah.
You know, the two pictures on the right side, the top one and the one in the middle, those are the two that, to me, when I looked at these pictures yesterday, stood out to me to be the most glaring of how they managed to get you out of there, first of all, and then, of course, how you survived such a horrific accident. The jaws of life saved you.
Absolutely.
And we found out yesterday in our Kiwanis meeting that the Kiwanis Club of Virginia Beach donated some of the first funds for the local fire department and rescue squads in Virginia Beach to get the first jaws of life. And that particular tool may have been the exact same tool that helped get Rachel out of the car. But those pictures, and we have a couple other pictures which we'll show throughout the interview as well. Can you bring up the one that has 1991 written on it, John, if you can, please, before we go to break? See if we can bring it.
Wow.
So here we are. We're time warped, right? This is 1991. This is Rachel at that time. Now, was this like how close, if you recall, was this picture to the night of the incident? I'm just curious from a timetable standpoint.
Probably a few months, to be honest with you.
Okay, but folks, this is 1991. This is the exact person at that time that was driving that car that you just saw in that mangled mess in those pictures. All right. With that, though, we're going to step aside for our first break of the show. We want to thank all of our sponsors. Oh, yes, right. September 2nd is John's birthday back in Vegas too.
Oh.
Yes. So Kismet, karma. You're watching a very special Kiwanis Connects. We have Rachel Ringer here. She is talking about her experience of being hit by a drunk driver and why her message is, don't make that mistake. Don't drink and drive. For Doc, Val, for John, I'm Aaron. Thank you to our sponsors. Here are their messages. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Aaron Phillips here from the Kiwanis Connect show. Are you trying to recruit for new members? Do you have a huge event coming up that maybe is your biggest fundraiser of the year? But you need to do something different to let people know that it's happening. The same old gives you the same old routine and results. Well, we've got an idea for you. The Kiwanis Connect show offers the opportunity to have customized commercials created to help your club get your message out. And you know what? One of the extra. Kiwanis International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children, one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year.
For more information, contact Herman Platsky at KiwanisClub of 29Palms.com.
Sometimes I'd like to smack old age right in the kisser. Ow!
I always get the best parking spot.
I think she needs a little more help.
Monday?
What I really need is a boyfriend that can drive at night.
I can make a fashion statement out of anything.
I will be fabulous.
I have a little crush on my pharmacist.
With Comfort Care at your side, you can live your best life possible. We know families can't be there 24/7, which is why we can help with as much or as little home care as you need. From medication reminders and meal prep to everyday chores and errands, so you can live in your own home on your terms.
I wouldn't let aging stop me from being me.
Call Comfort Care now and let us create your personalized care plan and find the perfect caregiver match.
Can you show that number again? She was texting.
Together with Comfort Care, you can both live your best life possible.
All right. Welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. Thank you for joining us today. Our guest today is Rachel Ringer. She was involved in a horrific accident, being hit by a drunk driver. Thank you, John Crawford, watching on YouTube. He said such a sad story, but a very important message. I want to say, normally, Val, when we meet people with stories like Rachel, they usually spurn nonprofit organizations. They spurn movements. They spurn ways to deliver messages. I want to make it perfectly clear, everybody. Rachel's doing this on her own. She did not start a foundation. She did not start an organization, because her message is so important that she's availed herself to go out and speak at high schools and wherever, coming on our show. So this is just Rachel going out there sharing her story. And I want to share that. I want everybody to understand that there's no RachelRinger.org, sharing her story, fundraising for any purpose other than her own desire to share a very important story of something that happened, if my math is correct, will be coming up on 35 years, yes. Right? So, Val, I see your message in there.
And the reason why I'm putting this out there is I think it's so important that Rachel shares her whole story, because it isn't an organization, because she's not leading a charge. She's telling the story from her perspective, and this is what people need to hear. They always see these pictures, but there's no story behind it. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that makes the impact on kids, because they see those images in video games all the time. That's what it looks like. Yep. But there's no human story to it. And seeing someone like you, who look just like them, has more impact. So towards the end, we will talk about how Kiwanis clubs can make it a movement and include you. But for now, I think sharing more of your story, because it's not just you that was impacted.
Absolutely.
It's a village. And so that's why I was trying to stay quiet. I'm trying really, really hard and sitting on my hands.
No worries, Val. All right, so we're going to pick up the story. So now we've had the accident. The family saw you on the news, saw the whole thing. Okay, now what do you know? What do you recall of the accident, which didn't sound like much, and the other driver who hit you? Talk about, because I know the outcome of that story from hearing you yesterday, but I think it'll be interesting. Let's talk about from the time of the accident, your recovery. You did suffer a loss.
I did.
While you were
I was
in the hospital.
6.5 months pregnant when the crash happened. So I was right at 28 weeks pregnant. And so my first memory when I woke up in the hospital was the sweet lady with short, dark hair and glasses. Just the sweetest woman. She came in and gave me an envelope and said, "Your family thought that you would want to keep this." And of course, I was kind of confused. I didn't realize what was going on. So I opened this envelope and I pull out a baby blanket, a little bonnet, a tape measure, a little washcloth and baby wash and everything. And I'm looking at it. And then the last thing I pull out is this book, and it was titled "When Hello Means Goodbye." And I remember kind of looking at it thinking, okay, like, what is this all about? And then she told me, you lost your baby. Your baby died. She was delivered. You delivered her. She was born stillborn, and your family has buried her. She's already had a proper burial and everything. So that's how I learned about the loss of my daughter. But when I woke up, I guess from my family talking to me while I was unconscious and in a coma, I already knew that I was in a crash, I guess. So I wasn't too surprised to hear that. I think I just didn't realize how bad it was. And then that all came a little bit later, trying to focus on one thing at a time. So we got past the loss, and then I was told, well, you might not ever walk again, because my legs were severely injured. And then I was also told, and you also might not ever be able to have another child. Like the injury, the trauma was just too much. It just might not ever happen for you. So you might have to just accept that. So then we go home. I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks. And then when I went home, intense physical therapy. I never went to any counseling. I guess that maybe that wasn't a thing then. I don't know, but I never really went to any counseling. And in my mind, I was 17. I just wanted to get back to school and be with my friends. Like, that's what I wanted. So that's
something normal.
I just kind of pushed myself to heal quicker so I could get back to normalcy. Yes.
In the early 90s, it was all about, if you heal the outside, the inside will follow. So
yes. Yeah, it was very it's definitely not like it is today, where, you know, like if that happened today, the first thing they're going to say is go get some counseling. Like you need some counseling. But I never did that. And then for years after that, when I started speaking at the schools, I had my high school teacher was actually the one who got me into it. And then because of the time of, it was in 91, I wasn't allowed to tell the story about my baby. I wasn't allowed to tell the students or my classmates about that part of the story. So I suppressed that for a long time.
Okay.
Many, many, many years. I just kind of put that back in the back of my mind, and I wouldn't talk about it too much. I wouldn't talk about any of it too much, because it also got to a point where my friends that were friends of mine for years and years and years would literally say, oh, here we go again.
Gotcha.
So I felt like I was burdening them with trying to talk about whatever it was that was bothering me, whether it be, something about my daughter, Cameron, about her loss, or if it was just something about the crash, like trying to move past it, or it didn't matter to me. I was just trying to talk about it.
Right.
But to everyone else, it would seem to be a burden.
Wow.
So for 26 years, I
suppressed it,
wow. Blocked it out.
So Cameron would have been 35-ish. at this point, right?
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. Let that sink in. Of course. So I actually have one of the things I posted online yesterday, at least was a link. I actually have a printout of the Virginia Pilot newspaper article dated back Friday, November 3rd, 1995, on an article that was done on Rachel. And according to this news article, some of the injuries that you suffered, as listed in here, and this was written by Tom Holden, who is a staff writer, you had broken ankles, one kneecap was ripped out, you had a bruised heart in more ways than one, concussion, broken facial bones. And your friend Lucy, she suffered only a broken collarbone.
Well, she had a broken collarbone and a broken nose.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
She was very fortunate.
And then you began years of physical therapy again to walk, like you had said, that they had said that you were not even sure if you'd even be able to walk again. But good news is you are a mother.
I am a mother.
So the heck with what they said back in that day, that would never happen. You have talk about who your child now, your family.
I have a 27-year-old daughter. Her name is Morgan. She's a labor and delivery nurse.
Oh, there's some irony there.
Babies,
wow, good for her.
Yep. And she has a wonderful husband.
Mm-hmm.
They have 2 beautiful babies. So I have 2 grandsons by her. And she's a blessing. God knew I needed her.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
She's a blessing.
Val, you have a question in there that you want to jump in with?
I did. And part of it is that you said you went and spoke with schools. Do you still do that at this point in time?
I do. Actually, at the end of this month, I will be going to First Colonial High School here and speaking for their Arrive Alive program. And that's basically, it used to be called every 15 minutes, but now it's called Arrive Alive, to include not only drinking and driving, but distracted and drug driving as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so was it cathartic for you to be able to actually go, how does it make you feel to be able to share this with?
Very, very therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
Very therapeutic.
I think that your story will resonate with so many of us during that era, where every prom night there would be postings of students lost.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember those?
I do.
Newspapers? Yeah. And it was over and over again every year, because kids just weren't getting the message. They kept thinking, this is not about me. This is somebody else. This happens to someone else in some other town. And so your story just really makes it real. And I wanted to say thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. And actually, it's funny that you say that, because I remember being in high school and I remember sitting in the audience watching one of these programs. It was called Prom Promise then. And I remember thinking, that's so horrible, but that'll never happen to me. I mean, everybody thinks that. Everybody, you see it, and you just think that's in another place. That doesn't happen around here. That absolutely will not happen to me. So that kind of stole my innocence of believing that bad things couldn't happen to me.
Absolutely. Even though we say there's no bad days, the reality is that if the message isn't clear and it isn't timely, then we will continue to have these kinds of accidents happening over and over again. And so when we started this, we talked about the timing of you being here. This is the spring formals time across the country. And I think that there are lots of quinceañeras and things that really start kicking off big time in the spring. And I hope that people will see the images of what you've shared. And it's not just you that was impacted. It's your families that not knowing what was going on. And they've gone through probably every guilt and emotion and are in avoidance mode, because there you go again, right? Sharing their story. But please don't stop sharing your story.
No.
I have a funny feeling she ain't stopping anytime soon.
No.
Because what part of her story, and I'm going to jump ahead just a few steps here, obviously the Virginia Beach Rescue Squad was paramount in saving her life and helping rescue her out of the car. Part of what comes around goes around, or what goes around comes around, whichever way that thing goes around, like a carousel. She later on in life became a rescue squad member as a way to say thank you to not only the squad for saving her life, but as one way to give back to the community. How many years did you serve on the squad?
So I did that from age of 21 until I believe I was 25 or 26. I did it for 4 or 5 years. Yeah,
but I mean, just the thought process of giving back to the people that saved your life. Again, that's just one of the what goes around comes around parts of the story. So yeah, it's paramount. I mean, the title of that article that I was referencing is "She's Now on the Heroic Side of Rescues, Having Been Saved from a Collision by the Squad. Rachel is now a volunteer herself." So, she gave back directly through to the community that helped her. I want to go back to the accident itself, because obviously it was a drunk driver was found out, right?
Yes.
But what's interesting about this story is later on in life, you actually connected with the driver.
So I did. Well, so like I said, for like 26 years, I just kind of suppressed everything. And in that 26 years, I went through a drug addiction, and probably consuming a little more alcohol than I probably needed to. But it was my way of just blocking it out. And then in 2017, I just had a major PTSD trigger, which I didn't even know I had PTSD, which is crazy because I guess you would just kind of assume that comes along with the package.
Right.
But I had a major trigger. And when that happened, because of Facebook, I said, let me see if I can find this guy on Facebook, the drunk driver who hit me. So I looked him up on Facebook and I found him. And I sent him a friend request thinking he absolutely is not, like, he's going to see that name and
run
just
for the hills.
Yes. delete.
Right.
And a couple days went by and then I got a notification. Jack Adcock has accepted your friend request. And I had a little anxiety attack because now I was like, oh no.
It's like he called your bluff almost.
Exactly. So now what do I do? So I called my best friend. I'm crying to her and, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And she just said one thing to me. She said, Rachel, you know what you have to do. And we hung up the phone. And I sat there for 30 more minutes crying and doing my thing. And then finally I typed him a message and said, I did not reach out to you in spite or hate. I want you to know that I forgive you. It's been 26 years. And for me, I need to do this. So I want you to know that I forgive you. But I also want you to know that that forgiveness is for me. It's not for you, has nothing to do with you. It's for me so that I can heal and I can move on and I can proceed with my life with this reality in it instead of pushing it all behind and not facing it.
And you needed it for yourself in a way, for closure, if nothing else. You didn't think maybe you didn't think you needed the closure for it, but the fact that you forgave him, did that give you a sense of closure?
Maybe a little bit. But so when I sent the message, and I thought for sure, I was like, okay, I've sent the message. I've done my part.
Okay.
If he responds back, great. If he doesn't, then that's great too, because I've said what I need to say.
Sure.
And that's all that's important to me. And he actually responded back right away with an apology. And if everything that he says is true, then he never forgave himself for what he did. And he lived with it every day up until a few years ago. I found out that he passed away.
Okay. Did that event, did you guys talk to the point where from the accident forward that he went and sought help, that he got clean, he cleaned up, or it just impacted him from the standpoint of the accident itself?
Unfortunately, I don't think that he ever stopped drinking.
Okay.
I don't think that he did. And I don't know if it was a coping mechanism now at this point that he was drinking, or if it was just a disease that he had and just could never give it up.
Gotcha. Well, now you also said, if I recall from yesterday, that he did not serve jail time.
He did not serve any jail time. And as a matter of fact, his DUI charge got brought down to reckless driving.
That's what ties it back to our show last week when Cassandra started the MAD after her child being killed in a drunk driving accident. This is not an accident in that sense. This person chose to drive drunk. And wow.
Yeah. Cassandra Leitner, who is the founder of MAD. She was on our show last week with Matt. I'm blanking on his last name only because it wasn't an easy last name to say. So I think it was Capilouto, I believe was his last name. Saving lives. They're taking their mission forward, where situations like your accident are not accidents, where police reports will say so-and-so died because of an accidental overdose or accident. No, it's not an accident. Right. So these two individuals were on last week talking about their new mission of getting reports looked at again and changed to be recorded properly for the right cause of death.
Yeah, I actually catch myself a lot of times when I'm talking and I'll say my accident, and then I'm like, no, it wasn't my accident. It was my crash. It was the crash. It was not an accident.
Right.
Because he knew exactly what he was doing.
He got behind the wheel.
Made that conscious effort.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, Aaron, I think we need to go to another commercial break because we've got some bills to pay.
Yes, we do. All right. You're watching Kiwanis Connects, more with Rachel, Doc, Val, John, and anybody else who cares to chime in. You know what that means? That means we have Melissa Atwell's stuff coming up next. We also have Val's wow moments and on the road. And I have a new seal on a new joke book to share later for Bad Dad Jokes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Have you heard the news? WVBV-TV Virginia Beach has arrived. WVBV-TV will bring an exciting lineup of shows streaming from our very own Virginia Beach studio. Since we're an affiliate of WWDB-TV Las Vegas, our show lineup will also be available on all of the WWDB-TV social media channels. We're looking for new and current show hosts, content creators, and our advertisers who would like to take advantage of our vast audience. Las Vegas Entertainer Hall of Fame member Aaron "The Voice" Phillips is building this brand of marketing and promotional platform right here in Hampton Roads. For more information, email wvbtvinfo@gmail.com or call 702-286-0063. Think outside the box and let your voice be heard.
Sometimes I'd like to smack old age right in the kisser. Ow!
I always get the best parking spot.
I think she needs a little more help.
Monday.
What I really need is a boyfriend that can drive at night.
I can make a fashion statement out of anything.
I will be fabulous.
I have a little crush on my pharmacist.
With Comfort Care at your side, you can live your best life possible. We know families can't be there 24/7, which is why we can help with as much or as little home care as you need. From medication reminders and meal prep to everyday chores and errands, so you can live in your own home on your terms.
I wouldn't let aging stop me from being me.
Call Comfort Care now and let us create your personalized care plan and find the perfect caregiver match.
Can you show that number again? She was texting.
Together with Comfort Care, you can both live your best life possible.
Hey everybody, Aaron Phillips here from the Kiwanis Connects show. Hey, are you trying to recruit for new members? Do you have a huge event coming up that maybe is your biggest fundraiser of the year? But you need to do something different to let people know that it's happening. The same old gives you the same old routine and results. Well, we've got an idea for you. The Kiwanis Connect show offers the opportunity to have customized commercials created to help your club get your message out. And you know what? One of the extra wonderful points of this opportunity is we provide it as a fundraising opportunity. For every $50 donation for the commercial goes to the Rose Float Kiwanis Club. That's right. The very same Rose Float that we see on television every New Year's that represents Kiwanis International will now be supported by these Kiwanis Connects commercials. So, if you want more information to get involved, just drop us an email at kiwanisconnectsinfo@gmail.com. That's kiwanisconnectsinfo@gmail.com. Get your 30, 60, or 90-second customized commercial today, and let's help the Rose Float Kiwanis Club continue to plant its seeds for success. All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects, because I said so, and because John said we're up. So we're back. Welcome back. Doc Val is out in Cali, and joining me here in studio is Rachel Ringer. She is the survivor of a very violent car accident back on September 2nd, 1991, that was caused by a drunk driver. And she is a lone wolf sharing her story of the importance of don't make that decision to drive impaired in any way, shape, or form. And she's sharing her story with us at this time. And we were just leaving off in our last segment to where she had made contact with the driver, Val, and you did share that within the last couple of years, he himself passed away.
Yes.
So Val, I'll throw it back to you to start off this final segment with Rachel.
So Rachel, I'm really glad that you're here. And for me, it brings back a bunch of PTS moment and flashes. And so as I'm listening to your story, I want to make sure that people know that there are a lot more resources now than there were when we were all kids. So if you're an 80s baby, a 90s baby, even the early 2000s, there wasn't anything past the first 24 hours after an accident in schools. So when those 9 days when you were in a coma and then unconscious, I'm sure there were assemblies. And they talked about sending up positive messages. But when those assemblies were done, there is an assumption in the schools that the crisis was over. And so how did you reintegrate back into school?
Great question.
So it kind of goes back to the PTSD trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had done it in the earlier years, like right after I graduated high school and while I was still in high school. And then I went through that whole suppression period. And then in, like I said, 2017, I had the trigger, and that just kind of reignited the spark in me. And I was like, this cannot be happening. Like, why is this happening? It shouldn't be happening. We're taught from day one when we get our driver's license, you don't drink and drive.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just that simple. Everybody knows to put their seatbelt on. So why are you drinking and driving? I mean, it shouldn't be happening. So that just kind of reignited the spark in me. And I was like, I need to get back out there and I need to tell people, because they need to see what the past 35 years have been like for me, and see that it doesn't end after the crash. It doesn't end after you get home from the hospital. It never ends. It never ends.
You have a new normal life,
right,
because of it.
Right, exactly. And it's all focused around that one incident, which stinks.
That one moment in time, yeah.
Which stinks. But and it doesn't matter what day it is. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. Something every single day reminds me. Every day I think about it. And it doesn't matter if I want to or if I'm trying the hardest to not even think about it. Something reminds me of it every single day.
And those triggers can be so small and they can be absolutely huge. I know it's like when you see something flash on a TV screen, or walk into a friend, or walk up with a friend that hasn't spoken with you in, was it the past 27 years, because they didn't know how to deal with it on their own. And so thank you for sharing about the need for compassion and understanding. I really, I got it. For me, it's not wrapping it in a bow. It's giving people opportunities to be able to help, because in Kiwanis, that's what we are, is we're helpers. We want to provide support. There are a number of programs out there that we can support, but what's your favorite one? What would you like for people to put their resources into? And they're not just financial, but their time, so that other kids don't end up like this.
I personally, I really like the every 15 minutes or the Arrive Alive program because that is my target audience. I want to reach the kids before they get out on the road. I want them to hear my story before they get their driver's license so that they think about that when they're out. Because the reality is, we already know as teenagers, you're going to drink. You're going to, I mean, you're going to. That's just how it is. You're going to do it. But if I can just tell one kid, please just don't do that. Like, don't make that one mistake, because here I am 35 years later and it's still affecting me. So what you do in that 1 minute is going to affect somebody's life forever. And it's not worth it. It absolutely is not worth it. Not for 1 second.
Herman, our good friend Herman,
the best example. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm sorry. Herman Platsky put a question in the chat room from last week's show by accident, by the way, and I just happened to have picked it up. He asks, and maybe, I don't know if you stay on top of statistics about DUI and all of that, but I'll put it out there. Any figures on the number of drunk drivers who get a DUI, which causes death in such a tragic accident for the victim, that gets their DUI reduced to reckless driving, like was the case of your driver? I mean, do we know how often that may happen?
Oh, I do not. I would love to know.
Okay.
Because that's just
there you go. Let's research that. So if there's any attorneys out there.
I did a little research, and I got to tell you that the number that popped up on my screen was in 2024, 90% of drunk driving incidents were pled down. I'm an educated woman here trying to get the whole word out. Pled down to misdemeanor
reckless driving
or driving while intoxicated or under the influence. And so it's, Herman, you were right on to something. And so those connections are, it's hard to tell yourself that it's not your fault when other people aren't having to take responsibility for their actions. And I look at those people that drive drunk and have multiple ones of these infractions, right? They're just infractions where they're changing people's lives multiple times before they finally get caught, finally get stopped. And so this is when the anger gene kicks in and the soap opera box breaks out. But we need to make sure that, especially our student leaders, our key clubbers, getting the message out, not just during Spirit Week, but also getting to your friends and others, the younger students in your class. It's like, congratulations on your new license. Maybe it's you have this new, and I think I froze.
You just bounced back in. You're good. You're good.
But I think having those red ribbon moments where when a student gets their new license, they get a red ribbon that says, I promise not to drive drunk. I promise to make the phone call to somebody to be a designated driver. And it's because they can't always promise that they're not going to drink, as you said, Rachel. It's just something that is a rite of passage sometimes. But to make the commitment and be conscious of the fact that it's your responsibility when you get behind the wheel. You are responsible for your actions and how you impact others.
Absolutely.
Right on. Yep. Right on. All right. I'm going to ask Rachel. She can kick back and relax for a minute or two, because next up, it is time to hear from Melissa Atwell. And it is time now for the mental health moment. Take it away, Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa Atwell, here with your mental health moment. Whatever you're feeling, whatever it is, whether tired, frustrated, hopeful, angry, it's valid. Period. It is valid. Giving yourself permission to feel is the first step towards healing. Remember, take a moment for your mental health.
All right. Thank you, Melissa, as always. Love the message. All right, Val, are we ready for some Val's wow moments?
Absolutely. Let's take it over.
All right, let's hit it.
Woo, woo. So we just had a phenomenal mid-year winter conference, and so my biggest wow was how many people it takes to put on a conference and make it successful. And so to all of the board members and boards of directors that put on the gala for our midwinter, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to spend a special shout out to Kathy Tran for being the conference host with the most. And overall, if you have a chance to go to one of these educational sessions that's in your area, you want to do it because it's better than a CEU at a community college because it's wrapped up in love and fellowship in addition to just going to class. And my second one, I got to put it out there because I just witnessed a young man that I thought was absolutely phenomenal. And he flies under the title of a library kid. And as you know me, I love anything that's related to literacy. Yep. And he is bringing library joy through something called the Reading Rainbow in Solano County. And he set up a process because libraries are now the safe places because you can go there and you can have your kids meet you there because you can't afford after school care. And libraries are turning into community centers with extra programs because they have the funding. And his message has been that everyone is welcome at the library. Everyone is welcome. And so that was one of my aha moments, my wow moments. So.
Right on. Right on. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Before we go on to bad dad jokes, let me just give a couple of quick programming notes. First of all, tomorrow, Aaron's Hour from 11 a.m. until 12. We will have the opportunity to meet Beverly and Clifton Zimmerman. They are the co-founders of a nonprofit here in the Virginia Beach area called Jonathan Cares. They provide food to those that have food insecurities, and Jonathan is their their son who passed away very young. He was about 4 years old when he passed, and so they're doing this in his legacy. So that is from 11 until 12, and then if you haven't had enough of me by then, you can tune in at 12:30 to 11 on Cox Cable Channel 4 here in the local area, Sky 4 WSKY TV, and you can watch the Voice of 757 show all about Hampton Roads. And my guest tomorrow will be Al Tuning. He's the president of the Princess Anne County Virginia Beach Historical Society. And the little tease with him is I asked him a question about what to him is the most interesting historical fact about the area. And I'm not going to tell you what he said. You're going to have to tune in because you're going to be very surprised by what he said. So make sure you check that out. And if you miss it tomorrow, don't worry. Just go to the Facebook page of the same name, The Voice of 757. Once a show airs on television, I put it up there on Facebook. And this way you can watch it. All right, John, let's hit it. It's time now for me to break the seal on a new joke book. Bad Dad Jokes. Hit it. All right, here we go. Brand new book. I know, I picked them. We talked about this early on. I know. All right, here you go. You ready? Where do shoelaces go on vacation? Where do shoelaces go on vacation, Doc Val?
No clue.
Any guess?
Mm-mm.
No. Oh boy, they go to Thailand. Come on, Thailand, shoelaces. Okay, there you go.
It can get better from here. Woo woo.
Where do shoes go on vacation? Where do shoes go on vacation?
With their laces.
Oh, I like Rachel. I knew I liked her. Did you hear what she said? She said with their laces. That's where they go on vacation.
They're in Thailand too.
That's right. No, they go. You know where they go? They go to Las Vegas. They go to Las Vegas. That's right.
Oh, I heard of that place. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. That's why I left there. That's right. Exactly.
Hey, Aaron.
Yes.
I'm sorry. We got somebody has sent us a comment on your
last
two jokes.
On
Yeah.
that one? All right. Let's hear it.
I wanted to share this, okay?
All right, breaking news. Here you go.
Here you go.
Whenever you get angry at someone, just remember to take a breath. Count to 10. And then throw a punch at 8. Nobody expects that.
Oh my goodness. Wait, really? That's what they sent in? Well, at least we evoked some response.
I think they just could have just counted to 2 for those past 2 jokes. I don't know.
I get no respect.
Does it get better because you chose these?
I did. Well, but they're from a new book. So what can I tell you?
That to yourself.
I know I did.
Oh,
Where do pirates go on vacation? Argentina.
I was just going to say that.
All right. What's the coldest place in South America? Did you hear about this? The coldest place in South America?
Chile.
Yes, John. Very good. You got it, John. All right. Very good. All right. Last one, and then I'm going to get out of Dodge because I got to be honest with you. I'm not thrilled with these either. What's the easiest kind of building to lift? What is the easiest kind of building to lift, you might ask? A lighthouse. And that does it for this week's really bad version of Dad's. Yes. So I'm going to take the book, I'm going to close it up, and I'm going to put it off to the side, and probably will never use it again. So,
oh my!
I should go back to FedEx and get my $12 back.
Or
have it applied to my next shipment.
You paid $12 for that?
And it was on sale.
Ooh.
No wonder why it was on sale with such crap.
That's a real joke. You paid $12 for that.
I know. Listen, I spare no expense for this show. I want you all to know that. Okay. I spare no expense for the best quality entertainment. And when I spend that, I'll let you know. Okay.
All right.
All right. With that,
I'm going to say that it is amazing that we're able to do this and have connections with people like you, Rachel. You really have opened many of our eyes and returned us to something that's really, really important. And that is taking personal responsibility for our actions. It doesn't matter how much education we put out there. If we don't take personal responsibility, we can't succeed and be good humans. So thank you for helping us kick off March. And March is Women's History Month, and I've been putting out all kinds of posts. But, March is really about people like you. You are one strong, amazing woman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well said, Val, as always. Before I forget, tomorrow night, before you all go to bed, you better change your clocks. Better push them ahead an hour. Otherwise, you're going to be late for the next 6 months after this weekend. So change your clocks. All right.
My car clock will finally be right.
The what?
My car clock.
There's a good bad dad joke.
My VCR always used to be that way too. For those of you who remember what VCRs are. Yeah, that's right. That's good. See that digital clock on the wall? I hope that automatically changes because otherwise it's going to be like your car clock for the next 6 months. I hope so. Anyway, all right. So before we go, look into that camera. Somebody watching right now. Give them a final message.
Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Just drive. Don't hurt anybody. It's
Absolutely.
not worth it.
Well said. Well said. All right. With that, everybody, Val, as always, I hope you feel better. A little cognac, a little warm milk, a little something. Feel better? Oh, by the way, congratulations on your awards at Midwinter this year. You got surprised with something. Why don't you quickly share what you got, what you were recognized?
Good. It's the only award you can't buy for yourself. I was awarded the Tablet of Honor by all of my friends and colleagues on the CNH Children's Fund Board. And so mahalo. It was a great honor.
Congratulations. Well deserved. All right, everybody. That does it for this edition of Kiwanis Connects. As always, in about 3 minutes, this show will be available for you to reshare off the Facebook page or YouTube. So please do so, especially with the importance of today's message from Rachel. Share, share, and share. All right, everybody. Be kind to everybody. Why? We are all we have. I'll see you tomorrow in Aaron's Hour or next Friday, which is Friday the 13th next week. We'll see you next time. Be safe. This show is adjourned. My passionate enjoyment for doing this.